everyone, it's Anya here and I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks. Well, actually I am back with a whole series of technique videos. So this intro will be used for every video and it will just remind you that this is part of the techniques video series and that the hook and yarn I am using are just chosen for contrast and for me to be able to show you quite clearly what I'm doing. So I am using this hook and this yarn or these colors or whatever I've got here, but it is mainly about the technique. So I'm hoping that from seeing how I'm doing the technique, you can then take that to your own project. So I hope you have fun in this series and that you will learn a lot and that some of the things that I always used are explained in these videos. So let's get started. In today's video we are making a border around a blanket that's made up in rows. So you're just going to have to imagine that this is a big blanket that I've made up in rows which we are going to put a border around. Now in yesterday's video we did a border around a granny square blanket, so we pretended that this was a big blanket, but it meant with a granny square blanket you have V's on 4 sides of your blanket. Here you don't. You have V's on top of your blanket where you did the last row. You have this here where you have your starting chain and you've used the 2 loops already and you have 1 loop left, so you're going to have to use those loops. And then of course here you have the sides of your blanket that you have to work with and where you're going to have to decide where to put your stitches. So quite a variation of sides to work with, and I'm going to suggest starting in a particular place where I always start to make sure I can decide on my corners. So with a granny here you sort of do the same type of corner again as you were doing here, which makes it easy, but with this here you sort of have to, because you're doing a varied amount of stitches on your sides, you're going to have to work out how you are going to do your corner, and it's not going to be necessarily 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets, okay? But that's what we're going to use to start with. Now find the easy side. So your last row that you did with the V's on top, that is what I call the easy side, and let's go to the corner here and we will start in there. So I'm going to do my slip knot, insert my hook, and I'm going to start with standing crochets, and straight away I'm going to make a corner. So yarn over into that first V and I'm going to treat that as my corner. And for my corner I am going to do just like we did in the previous video, 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets. We just have to work out and see, oh that's 2 double crochets, and see if that corner is going to be suitable for our work. There we go. Okay, now we have to work our way along the line, and because it's the V's, this is the line that's easiest for us to pick up, so it should be fairly easy for you to do this. So I'm just going to continue putting double crochets in each stitch along my line here. Then when I get to the end, obviously I am going to decide where I'm going to be putting my corner and seeing how it looks. So the whole point of doing this and of doing the actual easy side of the blanket first is because, yeah, this is the bad news, you might have to take it out again, okay? This is why I start with this side, so you're not having to do, you know, the difficult side twice. So yeah, that looks good. This looks okay for now, although I don't know. Does it look too bulky? I'm not sure. So let's do another corner here, but I'm doing it slightly different. So I'm going to do two double crochets, 2 chains and 2 double crochets. I only picked up 1 loop there, which I don't know whether I'm happy about that. And then you go on by looking at your side here and trying to pick up your loops. Try to pick up 2 loops if you can at all. There's a loop there that I just, was obvious that could be picked up, so I'm just doing that for now. And another one here, another couple of stitches. Oh, why does it go off my hook? There we go. Okay. So let's just have a look at this corner here. And have a look at that corner there. I don't know. Does it look... It looks too much. You might not... It's difficult to see, isn't it? It's difficult to gauge. But if you can get away with... See, this still looks okay. This 2 double crochet, 2 chain, 2 double crochet is still fine. It lies flat and it makes a nice little corner. So I think I might just undo all of that and start again. This is how it goes. If you're doing something like this, make sure you have the easy side to work with. So when you have to take something out, you're going to be able to do that without too many choice words being uttered. See, I am always prepared. Yes, this is only a trial piece and this is only 20 stitches, but I am, even when I'm doing a big blanket, I am always prepared to undo part of it to make sure it's right. So here we are. Let's start with 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and then another 2 double crochets in there. And let's see if that works for us here. Okay, let's do this again. And yeah, that's what crochet is about. Sometimes if you're just doing your own project, or if you're working on something and you're changing your mind and you just want a simple border, find out what the border was that's prescribed. But even so, it is always a little bit of guessing, because it all depends on your tension, your yarn and your hook. Of course, there's always variables there. And I find with this chunky yarn, very often I don't need as many stitches to do the corner. If you're doing this in DK, by all means do the 3 2 3 corner, 3 double crochets, 2 chains and 3 double crochets. It might work, it might just work. But if you find, let me just see if I can show it here. If you find that if I pull this, you see, look, you see that this is sort of coming out. You don't want that. Okay, now I've pulled it, of course. It needs to be nice and in there. Okay, so that's what I was wondering. That's what I was thinking that might happen here, where it's going to be pushed out because there's so many stitches in the corner. That's why I thought I would redo it. So it's a matter of judgment. Once you have, let's put it this way, once you've done a whole round of border and you've decided that's the one you're sticking with and your corners are coming out, then you sort of have to live with it almost, or undo the whole border and do it again. But yeah, it's a choice you have to make, and it's something that you have to sort of keep in mind. And that's why I start on the easy side, because that means it's easy to undo and redo. Okay, so yes, I am now happy with this corner, and now I am going to continue. So easy side, hard side, medium, hard side and hard side. So we are now doing a hard side. Okay, and here we are just going to have to try and pick up stitches where we think it is going to be okay to pick them up. Like I said, I try to pick up 2 loops, although here of course I wasn't able to. Here I want to pick up this loop, but I can't see where I could pick up a second one. Maybe I could go into that stitch a bit more. No. So yeah, I'm going to just pick up that loop. Oh, I need to yarn over. And when you do so, try not to pull up that loop too much. I just try and hold it so it doesn't extend too much. Then again here, yeah, I've got 2, but that means I'm in that hole. That's fine. I'm going to do that because I've got too many in a loop here, in just the one loop. Then here I can see, so yes, it is judging where you're going to put your stitches. If you're on the side of a double crochet, generally I would say put 2 there. Although if you put 2, if your whole blanket is made up of 2 double crochets along the side, this one is different anyway. If you put 2 into that stitch, that's too many. So you need to do 1 and then 2 and 1 and then 2, okay? Because if you do a double crochet border, it easily can wrinkle up, okay? So you must make sure you don't put too many stitches in your double crochets. But on the same, having said that, you do have to make sure you space them out evenly. So yeah, I have put 2 there because it just needed it there. You just have to sort of look at it and see where you're going to, I mean, you can put them here into those holes here, going round those posts of those stitches, but yeah, look, this is what I did here, but it changes the look. So yeah, I would say that's a bit too close to that one, mind you. Maybe in here. I would say try and look, I had to turn my hook to just get in there. Try and just place them where you're happy with them, where you think they are going to work, where you think they're spaced out evenly. Look, see, I think that's okay, right? So yeah, there's a hole there. That's good for me to use. Another one, maybe here. And also you'll recognize the locations on the other side, hopefully, or you'll recognize certain locations that you can use again each time when that same stitch comes up, and that will, after a while, it will make it easier. But for this side, you have to take your time. And to be honest, when you're deciding on your corners, you do not want to do one of these sides again, because obviously that makes it harder. See, look, this is what I mean. Look, this is straight now. If I had more stitches there, it would have come out like this, okay? But here, hopefully, this is okay now. Yeah, that looks okay. And yeah, this is how I am going to continue to this side and then along this side as well. So another thing that you need to remember is you're going to have to do the same amount of stitches here and here. Okay, so once you've done this side, look at it from a distance. Are they sort of evenly spaced out? How many have I got? So you start counting after the corner. 2, 4, hang on, it's easier to count when you're not looking in your viewfinder. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4. Okay. 5, 6, 7. Oh, maybe that was too far away. 8, 9, and a 10th one in there. 10. Do you think that's okay? Does that look okay? Yeah. Seems a bit much here, but it's okay. So I've got 20 stitches here. Now I'm ready for my corner again. And I'm doing it, the corner, I'm doing it in that sort of first leftover loop of that first chain. So 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets. There we go. Yeah, and I've made the corner and I'm happy with that. See, that's looking okay. So here we are now going to pick up the leftover loops. So yarn over and into the loop. Sometimes it's not so easy to get into it like this, but if you find it hard to get into it, I turn my hook and I go under it like this, and that generally does work. And I also, let me just do it like this, I also try and hold on to that little loop so it doesn't stretch too much. Yeah, okay, there we go, see, that's good. And then of course once you've done your last corner and you've gone all the way back to the other side here, doing the exact same amount of stitches on this side, you can then slip stitch here and then do a second row, or however many rows you're doing. Now on here, so you've got 20 stitches here, you have to make sure you have 20 stitches here. So it might be worth just finding the middle and then doing 10 stitches here and then 10 stitches there. Of course, when I've got these 20 stitches, that's not going to be a problem. If you have like more than 100 or 150 stitches, it might be worth dividing it up into so many locations. So divide it in the middle, then divide it into, you know, the middle into the middle again, you know, and then do a set amount of stitches for each compartment that you've indicated, because otherwise you might end up having to do a lot in the last one and you want to divide them evenly over the whole length. So try and, you know, sort of put a stitch marker there, there and there if this is your really long blanket, and then make sure you do the certain amount of stitches depending on how many compartments you made. Okay, so I hope this was useful. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.